Welcome to Shifting the Paradigm, Restorative Practices Training, presented by the TUSD Student Relations Department. Our goal for this training is to impart foundational knowledge of each concept presented today, including overall mission and key concepts. This asynchronous training can be taken as a standalone or as a precursor to the synchronous 2-hour Restorative Practices Professional Learning Thursday session with a focus on how to apply and practice these concepts within our school communities. Each member within a community has an important role in it, becoming truly restorative. So please write down any questions you may have throughout this video to either bring to the 2-hour Restorative Practices PLT session or to submit to the Student Relations Department at any time. With that in mind, let's get started. In order to become a strong community of restorative practitioners, we must all understand that the fundamental hypothesis of restorative practices is that human beings are happier, more cooperative, more productive, and more likely to make positive changes in their behavior when those in positions of authority do things with them rather than to them or for them. Applying the fundamental hypothesis requires all adults on campus to try and meet each student and each situation in a restorative manner. When we do so, we do our part in achieving the aim of restorative practices, which is to develop community and manage conflict and tensions by repairing harm and restoring relationships. It's also important to understand the explicit framework of restorative practices, as it allows us to first, apply the practice to our campuses with fidelity, together. Second, clarify roles, responsibilities, values, assumptions, and outcomes to ensure everyone within the community is on the same page and working together. Third, focus on the right practice conversations with our students or colleagues. This means we spend more time having proactive and restorative conversations with others. Fourth, strengthen restorative communities district-wide as we strive to create equitable and inclusive environments for all. And finally, focus on the collective goal of building healthy and inclusive learning environments where students feel safe, included, and motivated to learn. The social discipline window is a useful framework to examine our daily practice as we engage with students and others. It helps us understand the question, was that restorative? The social discipline window presents control and support on two axes, each measured from low to high. Within restorative practices, we understand and define control as limit setting, discipline, setting boundaries, and having high expectations. This may look differently than the traditional way we think about control. We may consider control as purely authoritarian and strict. When we refer to control in the remainder of this video, we are referring to the restorative practices definition of the word and not the traditional understanding. We define support as encouragement, nurturing, and love. This also may be different than how you would typically think of the word support. The to box or punitive box refers to a practitioner who falls high on control but low on support, as this typically defines one who does things to people. One may observe the punitive practitioner, often uses an accusatory tone, shows a lack of support when providing direction, notices inappropriate behavior more than appropriate or positive behavior, frequently gets immediate compliance, and has very high standards. The likely outcomes for the punitive practitioner include having an ordered classroom or setting, and having anxious and resentful students. The outcomes are usually a result of excessive yelling, an unwelcoming environment, and an overall lack of healthy rapport between student and teacher. A punitive practitioner may be able to attain short-term compliance, yet it rarely results in lasting behavioral change. These practitioners typically document higher levels of stress and an overall negative classroom atmosphere. The for box, or permissive box, refers to a practitioner who falls high on support but low on control, as this typically defines one who does things for people. One may observe the permissive practitioner as warm and supportive, who doesn't consistently set limits, focuses on effort and de-emphasizes the quality of the product, tries to reason with people to behave or respond, lacks authority in their classrooms, and makes excuses for students' disruptive behavior. The likely outcomes for the permissive practitioner include students feeling liked and supported, but doing so in a chaotic and out-of-control classroom. Students don't feel secure in the teacher's ability to manage, and the lack of structure truly impacts the ability for students to learn. Students usually feel anxious or uncertain, as there is little learning happening. As a result, the students produce low-quality work due to the lack of structure maintained. Permissive practitioners also document having higher levels of stress. The not box, or neglectful box, refers to a practitioner who falls low on both control and support, as this typically defines one who does not do for others. One may observe the neglectful practitioner as not consistently engaging with their students and not appearing concerned about the quality of their students' work. This means either they do not typically feel responsible when their students do not produce quality work, or that their student work reflects their chaotic classroom environment. Neglectful practitioners often ignore inappropriate behavior and primarily use videos and worksheets to teach. The likely outcomes for the neglectful practitioner include missing warning signs of academic or behavioral challenges with students, which may cause students to withdraw from the class or feel worthless. Students act out more for attention or because they lack a sense of structure, and there is limited meaningful learning. Neglectful practitioners also document higher levels of stress. The with box, or restorative box, refers to a practitioner who falls high on both control and support and is restorative in their daily practice. One may observe the restorative practitioner delivering engaging content, providing clear written objectives or goals, and using effective language. The restorative practitioner engages in collaborative conversations and engages everyone in decision-making. They hold consistent class circles and have high standards. The likely outcomes for the restorative practitioner include creating a positive atmosphere, students producing high-quality work and showing positive, kind, and supportive relationships. Restorative practitioners cultivate a sense of hope and optimism. They maintain effective classroom management and create environments where students feel a sense of safety. The restorative practitioner documents high job satisfaction. Within restorative practice, we utilize fair process. We understand that individuals are most likely to trust and cooperate freely with systems, whether they themselves win or lose by those systems, when fair process is observed. We want our students to trust us and feel safe so that when things go wrong, we will make things right in the right way. Fair process is about exercising authority in a way that is engaging. It takes the feelings and needs of others into account, respecting everyone involved. The principles of fair process include engagement, explanation, and expectation clarity. Engagement requires involving individuals in decisions that affect them by asking for their input and allowing them to refute the merit of one another's ideas. Explanation requires everyone involved and affected to be able to understand why final decisions are made as they are. Expectation clarity ensures that once decisions are made, new rules are clearly stated so that individuals understand the new standards and penalties for failure. Fair process is not a decision by consensus, nor does it set out to achieve harmony. Fair process also does not set out to win people's support through compromises that accommodate every individual's opinions, needs, or interests. Again, the goal is not to make everyone happy, rather to take the feelings and needs of others into account in order to ensure the process feels fair and respectful for everyone involved. Fair process does not equal democracy in your system, nor does it require leaders to forfeit their responsibility to make decisions, establish policies, and procedures. Simply put, fair process is just leadership in practice. So what does fair process do then? It achieves the conditions to build trust, elicits voluntary cooperation, drives quality performance, goes beyond duty, and puts into practice the value of sharing knowledge. We are on our way to becoming a restorative practitioner. Please bring any questions you may have to the upcoming 2-hour PLT session on restorative practices. Otherwise, send any questions to the TUSD Student Relations Department. Congratulations! You have completed the video portion of this training module. Now, please head to topic number 2 and pass the quiz with an 80% or higher to receive credit for taking this course.